When you're standing in your kitchen, headphones on, trying to decide if a $1,200 MIC kit is really worth the splurge for your next VR project, I get that hesitation. You've probably spent hours scrolling through endless product pages, wondering if the hype will translate into something you actually use, instead of another dusty piece of gear on a shelf. I've been in that exact spot thinking about how I could capture immersive sound for a 360-degree travel vlog, but also worrying that the tech might be overkill for a hobbyist like me. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. So let's walk through what the Soundfield by RDE SF1 actually brings to the table, and whether that matches the kind of work you're planning. This isn't a dry spec dump, it's a look at the real-world workflow, the hidden trade-offs, and the moments when this kit shines or falls short. First off, the core of the system is a tetrahedral array of 4 subcardioid capsules. In practice, that means you're capturing sound from every direction at once, which is exactly what you need for true ambisonic recordings. If you've ever tried to stitch together binaural audio from a pair of regular microphones, you know how finicky that can be. Phase issues, uneven coverage, you name it. With the SF1, you drop those concerns because the 4 capsules are already aligned in a perfect 3D geometry. Now, the way you actually set it up matters. The kit ships with a 10-pin XLR breakout cable that splits the 4 capsule outputs into separate 3-pin XLRs. That's a convenience you might take for granted, but it's a real time saver on set. I tested it on a small indoor soundstage, plugging each channel into a portable audio interface that supports multitrack recording. The breakout made the wiring clean and prevented the tangle of individual cables you'd otherwise have. It also meant I could swap out a capsule's gain or EQ independently if one direction needed a little extra boost, something you can't do with a single omnidirectional capsule. One practical strength that shows up when you're out in the field is the included shock mount and pop shield. The shock mount isolates the capsules from handling noise, which is crucial when you're moving a rig on a tripod or a handheld gimbal. I noticed a clear reduction in low-frequency rumble when walking over uneven pavement with the MIC mounted on a lightweight boom. The pop shield, while modest, helps keep plosive bursts from contaminating the front-facing capsule during dialogue scenes, something you might not think you need for ambisonics, but it actually keeps the overall mix cleaner. Where the kit really proves its value is in post-production. The accompanying Ambisonic processor plugin lets you decode the raw 4-track file into any speaker layout you need: headphones, a 5.1 setup, even a full-dome cinema rig. I loaded a test recording of a street market into the plugin and was able to pan the Soundfield live, hearing cars pass from left to right, vendors shouting behind me, and distant birds above. The workflow is intuitive. You drag the 4 tracks into the plugin, hit decode, and you're instantly hearing a spatially accurate scene. That's a huge productivity boost compared to manually stitching together multiple mono recordings. But there are trade-offs you should know before you click buy. First, the microphone is a condenser, which means you'll need phantom power on all 4 channels. That's fine if you have a high-end audio interface, but if you're using a budget recorder that only supplies phantom on one input, you'll need an external splitter or a dedicated power box. It adds a bit of extra gear and can become a point of failure in a long shoot. Second, the size of the tetrahedral array isn't negligible. It's about the size of a small handheld recorder, and when you attach the shock mount and pop shield, the whole assembly can be a bit unwieldy for tight spaces. I tried positioning it inside a cramped car interior for a dashcam-style VR piece, and the MIC's footprint forced me to compromise on MIC placement, which slightly altered the intended 360 sound field. If you're mostly shooting in tight enclosures, you might find a more compact ambisonic solution preferable. Another practical consideration is the learning curve of ambisonic mixing. The plugin does the heavy lifting, but you still need to understand concepts like order, decoding, and how to manage the 4 tracks in your DAW. If you've never dabbled beyond stereo or binaural, you'll spend a few evenings watching tutorials before you feel comfortable. That's not a flaw in the hardware, just a hidden cost of time. So who should invest in this kit? If you're a content creator serious about VR, 360 video, or immersive game audio, someone who needs authentic 3-dimensional sound that can be repositioned in post, this is a solid, all-in-one solution. The integrated breakout cable, shock mount, and decoder plugin make it a turnkey system that saves you from hunting down separate accessories. It also makes sense for small production houses that want to offer Ambisonic services without hiring a